Hello, friends. Welcome back. I'm thrilled to see you here today. So let's ease into the journey by leaning back, relaxing our shoulders, and leaving our minds wherever they belong. Today we'll explore India, a place abundant in cities and noise. But let's travel back in time to a man, tired and wounded, dreaming of an empire. The Mughal story is filled with blood, beauty, and legendary battles. From a boy's perspective, it begins with the discovery of vast riches and the building of one of the most breathtaking monuments. This tale follows a young man who lost everything, but his unwavering determination carried him through hardships and success. If you're interested in learning English through captivating tales like this one, be sure to follow along as every story contributes to fluency. Let's begin. In 1483, a young boy named Babur was born in the small kingdom of Fergana. His blood was intertwined with the rivalry between powerful conquerors. From his father's lineage, dating back to Timur, to his mother's connection to Genghis Khan. Despite his familial lineage, Babur found himself on a turbulent throne, facing rivals who targeted weaknesses long before he stepped on it. It's a well-known fact that carrying such blood can lead to great success. But this story emphasizes the importance of preparedness and resilience, pushing us to learn from Babur's triumphs and failures. Babur, the exiled prince who built an empire. Born in 1483 in Fergana, Central Asia, Babur descended from two legendary conquerors, Timur on his father's side, Genghis Khan on his mother's, but bloodline brought no comfort. His father died when Babur was just 11, leaving him a boy king surrounded by hostile relatives and rival warlords. Years of struggle followed. Babur captured the prized city of Samarkand twice, and lost it twice. By his early 20s, he had lost his homeland entirely, wandering with a small band of loyal followers, uncertain and often hungry. In his later memoirs, he wrote candidly about the loneliness and fear of this period, a rare honesty for a ruler of his era. Unable to reclaim his northern homeland, Babur turned his ambitions south, toward India, a land of legendary wealth ruled by Sultan Ibrahim Lodi, who commanded a massive army and 100 war elephants. Babur had far fewer men, but he had something decisive: knowledge of gunpowder warfare, learned from Ottoman military tactics. In April 1526, the two forces clashed at Panipat. Babur fortified his cannons behind roped-together carts, and when Lodi's army charged, they met a storm of cannon fire unlike anything Indian battlefields had seen. Lodi was killed, his army shattered. Babur became ruler of Delhi and Agra, founding the Mughal Empire and declaring himself its first emperor. But conquering was not the same as ruling. Local kingdoms resented the foreign invader, and Babur spent his remaining years defending his fragile new territory. His writings reveal mixed feelings toward India. He missed his homeland's climate and fruits, yet slowly grew to love its rivers, gardens, and unfamiliar wildlife. Babur ruled only 4 years before falling gravely ill in 1530. Legend says he prayed to trade his life for his dying son, Humayun's, and soon after, Humayun recovered while Babur's health collapsed. He died in December 1530, leaving behind a young, unstable empire surrounded by enemies waiting to strike. His son Humayun inherited not just a throne, but a storm that would soon cost him everything. Humayun, the emperor who lost everything and won it back. At 22, Humayun inherited the Mughal throne from his father Babur, but not a stable one. He received a patchwork empire, surrounded by enemies who never accepted Mughal rule, and worse, brothers who repeatedly betrayed him. Thoughtful and cultured, Humayun loved poetry and philosophy more than warfare, a gentleness that would nearly cost him everything. A brilliant rival rose in eastern India, Sher Shah Suri, a self-made military genius with one goal: to seize India entirely. In 1539, Sher Shah crushed Humayun's forces at Chausa. Humayun barely survived, saved from drowning by a humble water carrier. A year later, at Kanauj, Sher Shah delivered a decisive final blow. Delhi and Agra fell. The empire Babur had built collapsed within months. Humayun became a fugitive, fleeing into the deserts of Sindh with nothing: no army, no treasury, no home. During this desperate exile in 1542, his son was born in a humble mud fort in Amarkot. They named him Akbar, the boy who would one day become the greatest Mughal emperor in history. For nearly 15 years, Humayun wandered in exile, eventually finding refuge in Persia. Humbled but not broken, he patiently rebuilt his strength with Persian military support. In 1555, after 15 years of humiliation and determination, he reclaimed Delhi, but triumph was short-lived. Just 6 months later, rushing to prayer, Humayun fell down a stone staircase in his library. The injuries proved fatal. The emperor, who had lost everything and miraculously won it back, died within months of his greatest victory. The throne passed to his 13-year-old son Akbar, born in exile, inheriting a fragile empire surrounded by enemies, who believed the Mughal dynasty was finally doomed to collapse. They had no idea that this frightened boy would grow into one of history's most brilliant rulers, transforming a crumbling inheritance into one of the greatest empires the world had ever known. Akbar and Shah Jahan, an empire of unity, a love that built legends. At 13, Akbar inherited a fragile throne surrounded by enemies certain the Mughal dynasty was doomed. Though unable to read, he possessed an extraordinary gift for understanding people and power. At 18, he defeated rival ruler Humayun at Panipat, saving Delhi and the dynasty itself. What set Akbar apart was his refusal to rule through fear alone. He abolished the discriminatory tax on non-Muslims, married Hindu Princess Jyotibai out of genuine respect, and welcomed scholars of every faith into his court for nightly debates. He conquered Gujarat and Bengal, allied with Rajput kingdoms, built the magnificent city of Fatehpur Sikri, and created administrative systems so effective they shaped Indian governance for centuries. By his death in 1605, the once frightened exiled boy had built one of history's greatest, wealthiest, and most unified empires. His grandson, Prince Khurram, later known as Shah Jahan, king of the world, inherited this legacy along with a deep passion for beauty. At 15, he fell irreversibly in love with Arjuman Banu Begum, later titled Mumtaz Mahal. Unlike most royal marriages, theirs was a genuine, lifelong bond. She became his closest confidant, accompanying him even on military campaigns and bearing him 14 children. In 1631, tragedy struck. While traveling with Shah Jahan during a campaign, Mumtaz Mahal died from complications during childbirth. Shah Jahan was utterly devastated. His hair reportedly turned gray within days, and advisors feared for his sanity. From that unbearable grief emerged a decision that would echo through eternity: to build something the world had never seen, a monument so beautiful it would move people to tears for centuries to come. Shah Jahan, a monument to love, a prisoner in his own empire. Consumed by grief after Mumtaz Mahal's death, Shah Jahan summoned the finest architects and craftsmen from across Asia and Europe to build her a tomb, unlike anything the world had seen. For 22 years, over 20,000 workers labored on the banks of the Yamuna River, carrying white marble on 1,000 elephants and inlaying precious stones by hand. The result was the Taj Mahal, a monument so breathtaking that visitors swore it couldn't have been built by human hands. But power in the Mughal Empire was never secure for long. As Shah Jahan aged, his 4 sons turned against each other in a brutal war of succession. His son Aurangzeb emerged victorious, ruthless, disciplined, and merciless. He executed his brothers one by one, then imprisoned his own father inside Agra fort, just across the river from the Taj Mahal. For 8 years, Shah Jahan lived as a prisoner, allowed only the sight of his wife's tomb from a single window. When he died in 1666, he was buried beside Mumtaz Mahal, finally reunited with her in death. The story closes on its central theme. Empires rise not through strength alone, but through vision and the courage to keep going after loss. From Babur's exile to Humayun's fall and rise, from Akbar's wisdom to Shah Jahan's grief-turned masterpiece, the Mughal legacy shows that even the mightiest rulers were, at their core, deeply human, capable of love, loss, and creating beauty from pain.